Now we're going to talk about rational equations. So there are a few things you're going to have to remember about rational equations. First thing first is never cancel out or cross multiply to get an answer. Sometimes it may end up being the same, but most times it will not. First thing first is to find a common denominator. So this is x plus 6. This is x minus 2. So to find a common denominator for two fractions, you would just multiply the denominators. So the common denominator here would be x plus 6 times x minus 2. So you want to take and make both of these have the same denominator. So you can see 3x over x plus 6. Well, it doesn't have an x minus 2, so we're going to multiply the bottom times that. So this would be multiplied together. Okay, then we don't want to actually FOIL it out. We want to leave the bottom in factored form, but then when you do the bottom, you also have to do the top. And then over here on this side, this one has an x minus 2, but it needs to also be multiplied by an x plus 6, which means the top is going to be multiplied by an x plus 6. So then when we simplify these, we can distribute across the top. So we have 3x squared minus 6x equals, and this one, it would distribute the same, x plus 6. Now, both of these are over x plus 6 times x minus 2. Alright, so that means that I can actually cancel out the denominator. Well, I would do that by multiplying both sides by the denominator. Well, if I do that one, and I do this one, you see that this would be multiplied here and then divided. This will cancel out the bottom. This will cancel out the bottom. So then I am just left with 3x squared minus 6x equal x plus 6. So once I'm left with that, now I can go ahead and combine my equations on one side. 3x squared minus 6x, then minus x minus 6 equals 0 because it's a quadratic. So 3x squared, negative 6 plus negative 1, negative 7x minus 6. So now we're ready to see, does this factor? Okay, this one doesn't have a 1 coefficient in front of the x squared. We can't simplify anything because of this 7. So we're going to do 3 times negative 6, which gives me negative 18. So first thing I'm going to do is find multiples of 18 that could add up to give me negative 9. I know 2 times 9, give me negative 7. 2 times 9 will give me 18. If it's negative, only one of these can be negative. The middle term is negative, so that means the largest number here will be negative. So now these cannot become our factors because of this coefficient. So you can use the method of your choice. I choose to use this box method. You can use whatever method you know. 3x squared and negative 6. Then I put these in. So I have 2x and negative 9x. Go along the rows and see what's common. Well, the only common number is 1, but I can take an x out of both of these. And down here, common number between a 9 and a 6 would be a 3. And because this is negative, it'll be a negative between. Then I'm going to go up and do the columns the same way. Well, common number between a 9 and a 3 is a 3. It's also got an x I can take out. And then a common number between 2 and 6 is 2. The 2 is positive, so that's positive. So then my factors for this equation are 3x plus 2 times x minus 3. And that's equal to 0. So we're going to solve each one of those equal to 0. So 3x plus 2 equals 0. 3x will equal negative 2. Divide the 3. X will equal to negative 2/3. Then x minus 3 equals 0, and x will equal to 3. Now, as long as both of these answers, or one of these answers, doesn't cancel out a denominator. In this case, you figure out, you're looking up here at the original problem. If I had a 2, then it would give me division by 0. If I had a negative 6, it would give me division by 0. So both of those answers I can never have as one of these answers down here. If you get a problem where that is your answer, then you can't use it. But since neither one of these match that, they are both valid answers. And that's how you complete these problems.